Hello everyone. Welcome to the Sanders Financial, where we talk money matters because money matters. I'm your host, LaDarrius Sanders. In today's episode, we will continue our series on taxes. This is part 2 of our tax write-offs. During the first episode, we discussed what tax deductions were, how tax deductions function, their pros and cons, as well as ways you can decrease the amount of taxes owed at the end of each year. In today's episode, we're actually going to discuss income brackets. We'll also talk about additional ways that you could decrease the amount of taxes that's owed back towards the end of the year. And lastly, we will be discussing when are the best times to file your taxes, whether they be on time or even extensions. Stay tuned. You're in for a treat. We hope that you learned something. Let's take a look at the new tax brackets for 2019. Here in the first column, it tells you the percentages of taxes that you have to pay if you fall within the income brackets that are to the right. The second bracket, you're going to notice if you are an individual who is single and you're filing as such, what your income brackets are and the taxes you would have to pay to the far left. The third column would list if you are married filing joint, and then the fourth column would be if you are married filing separate or you're the head of the household. One might ask, why is it important for me to know my tax brackets if I have to pay taxes anyway towards the end of each year? Well, there are a couple different strategies. For instance, if I made $204,200, that will place me in a 35% tax bracket. In order for me to get the 32% tax bracket, it's important that I find enough deductions that will lower my income to meet that particular category. If I cannot find enough deductions to lower me to the next bracket, then it's probably not worth the time or the effort it would take to try to accumulate enough deductions, because I will still have myself placed in the same tax bracket. The time versus money effort, you have to weigh it out to see if that's really worth your time. That's the benefit of having a highly trained tax professional to give you that particular guidance. Now let's talk about a few ways that we can reduce the amount of money that we owe to the IRS at the end of the year. The tax code states in section 162, in order for a business to take a tax deduction, it has to be ordinary and necessary. If I'm a personal trainer in Miami Beach, Florida, it is necessary and ordinary for me to have a gym membership, and the cost of that gym membership, I'm able to write that off on my taxes because I have to have that in order to successfully run my business. What's not necessary and would be unordinary is if I owned a fishing boat in Alaska and I tried to write that off on my personal training business. Fishing boats, personal training have nothing to do with each other. If it was a yacht and I happen to have fitness models on my yacht, I don't know, maybe I could justify it, probably not. Everybody loves the classic meal write-off. If I take a client out to eat, all I have to do is mention the business and I get to write off the whole tab. Consult with your tax preparer to make sure that that will work for you. Some people just get a Mary Kay business and they decide to take all of their friends out to eat, and every year they're writing off meals on their taxes for a business need. But consult with your tax preparer to make sure. Is your home office. You're able to write off the square footage of your home that consists of office space. If you have a 1,500 square foot home and 500 square foot of that home is your office, you have the ability to write that square footage off on your taxes as well as a home office. If you're a parent, guess what? Child tax credit. My wife is pregnant with our second child. I'll have double child tax credit. Yay for me. Be honest. Let's not claim children that are not yours. Please do not claim them as dependents on your taxes. That is illegal. Avoid any tax preparer that tells you they have the ability to add additional dependents on your tax return to increase the amount of money you could possibly receive or reduce the amount of money that you have to pay back to the IRS as a result of dependents that are not yours. That is illegal, and you could possibly go to jail, and you could possibly go to jail, especially if you're audited. So stay clear of those type of businesses and those individuals that promote those. When it comes to paying your taxes on time, you have a tax preparer that may be overwhelmed with their current book of business. They don't have the ability to file your documentation in time. It's very important to make sure that at least they get an extension in for you. April 15th is the official day that taxes are due for the prior year. If you have 2019 and you're filing taxes, these are the tax returns from monies that are earned during the year of 2018. So you have April 15th of 2019 to have those taxes filed. If you do not file your taxes or pay your taxes on time without an extension, it's a 25% penalty. If you happen to file your taxes on time, but you're late in paying back taxes that are owed, then it becomes a 5% penalty. So I know you would rather pay a 5% versus 25, but guess what? If you just file an extension, you don't have to worry about paying any of those penalties. Now, there are exceptions to the rule if you do not have your taxes filed before April 15th if it is a federal holiday like Emancipation Day. If that holiday occurs during that time frame, then you have to April the 17th before your taxes are due to be filed. We've covered tax brackets and how they operate. We've also touched on additional tips and ways you can decrease the amount of money that you owe to the IRS at the end of each year. And lastly, we've covered time frames in which the IRS can look back into your taxes, time frames when you need to have your taxes filed or have an extension to avoid additional penalties. Thank you very much for tuning in to yet another episode of The Sanders Financial, where we talk money matters because money matters. And I am your host, LaDarrius Sanders. Please share them with all your friends and family and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please add comments. I want to hear from you guys, and I would like to know additional topics, things that you would like to hear, things you would like to know about, or if there's something that you wish that I covered in more detail, I'll be sure to read those comments and possibly add those in future videos. Thank you so much again. Stay tuned. God bless.